May 28th, 2023. Thank you for being here. This is a Memorial Day service. Tomorrow is Memorial Day here in the United States. And I'm going to start with We Shall Overcome. Sing along if you can. It's an easy song. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in us, we do believe we shall overcome someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid to live. Oh, deep in our hearts, we do believe we shall overcome someday. Love will see us through. Love will see us through. Love will see us through someday. Oh, deep in our hearts, we do believe we shall overcome someday. Amen. Together, amen. Amen. Thank you for singing along. And I'd like for us to come together after I put my guitar up. Let's see. Oops, sorry, guitar. Let's take one moment to settle down. And we'll take one full minute of silence. And so 60 seconds of silence to reflect on those we have lost in the battle for freedom and those we have lost to gun violence and COVID and the many, many challenges that we've faced as a nation. So 1 minute of silence. Close your eyes, please. Take a deep breath. and come back. May we live in peace. Thank you for joining us today on this holiday weekend. And take this time to make sure that you're in a quiet spot. You were singing. Welcome to Church of Spirituality. Today is the last Sunday in May. If you'd ever like to receive the church program, it is on churchofspirituality.online. If you don't already have the program emailed to you every Sunday morning, you can sign up for that at churchofspirituality.online. And many blessings. The theme for the month of May has been the infinite power of the divine feminine. Today's sermon is healing our collective grief. And I'm going to begin with a short excerpt from The Hill We Climb, the poem written by the illustrious Amanda Gorman. And I meant to read the whole thing before the service, and then all of a sudden I realized there are copyrights, so I couldn't read the whole thing. So I apologize if you were looking for that earlier. So I'm just going to read an excerpt. Keep in mind that there are people in this country presently who are asking for this beautiful, inspiring poem about we as Americans, brothers and sisters. This poem about us and democracy is being banned. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to see it. The spiritual mind treatment prayer for today continues to be a prayer for protection and healing in the United States. Remembering that we are all connected, this prayer includes all of Earth's peoples. Healing one country contributes to the healing of all countries. Please read along if you have the prayer in front of you. God is all in all, the divine presence that is everywhere. There is no spot where God is not. We declare that we, the people of the United States, along with the rest of the world, are one with this divine presence. Divine order is working through the situations of divisiveness and the appearances of hatred. We know and experience that everything is always happening for the ultimate outcome of healing and rebirth everywhere. Darkness that has been manifest is now fully removed and dissolved. Those who are out picturing hatred and vitriol and violence are now stopped in their tracks. We see evidence now that the light is presently in the process of eliminating evil, stopping all violence, healing and protecting this and all nations. Enemy countries that may have received United States secret information find that it has been rendered useless. Potential plans for any and all attacks are stopped. Harm to the people simply does not occur. Domestic terrorist extremist groups drop their arms and weapons, deciding that the planning of attacks on our nation and on all nations is useless and simply not worth it. Collectively, we choose to have and to contribute to a country and a world of peace. Justice is now in full operation and truth prevails, replacing all lies and negative rhetoric. We see the triumph of peace over conflict. Leaders who have stood for love and unity and do stand now for love and unity prevail and win. Those who have stood for hatred and violence now fall from positions of power according to the divine will. People everywhere demand and stand for the infinite power of love and interconnected harmony with one another. We eliminate from this prayer treatment any and all manifestations of fear, panic, doubt, worry, now and in the future. Negative emotions have lost all their power. Negative outcomes simply do not happen. Positive occurrences, love, and progress are the case, no matter the outward appearances. We work together as one country and one world to make America a safe and protected nation that is a beacon for a working democracy, for the good of this nation and for the good of the world. America heals now and becomes better than ever before. As I release this treatment to the divine law of harmony and good, we give thanks that it is so, and so it is. Thank you for joining me in that prayer. A couple of logistical things. Please hit the thumbs up. Invite someone to join you for this prayer service. That would be wonderful. Maybe somebody's sitting home alone and lonely. Invite them to tune in. And subscribe if you like. Let's see, we meet every single Sunday at 1 p.m. live Eastern Time. And I'm Annette Dion. I think most of you know that. I started Church of Spirituality on December 6, 2020. And it's a sort of an amalgam of all my spiritual learnings and studies through my entire life. We will have a time of prayer. And if you would like, you can put your prayer requests up for your personal prayers. I always pray for the world and for America during that prayer time, which will come after the chants. And know that we have a beautiful community here, very highly spiritual people, and they will pray for you. They'll put you on their prayer list. You can count on that, and prayer works. So feel free to put your prayers in the chat, your prayer requests. And just please keep in mind it's hard for me to read the chat while I'm doing the service, so don't be offended if I don't respond. Let's just go to our in the present chant. We're in the present, in the present, mind and bodies are here and now. In the present, we're in the present, breathing, intending, all is well. We're in the present, in the present, mind and body, here and now. In the present, breathing, intending, all is well. Breathing, intending, all is well. Anna Lee's here, and see Terry's here. A couple people that said they couldn't make it today, they're here. So It didn't go unnoticed. Thanks for being here. Thanks for people that are wielding the wrench. In the present, mind and body, here and now. In the present, breathing and intending all is well. All is well. When we intend it, it becomes more so. Time to read our mission statement. Oh, is it next week, Annalie? I thought you said it this week. No worries. We believe we were all connected to divine intelligence, continually moving through all of life and all living things. We remember to always align ourselves with this divine presence to create healing miracles in our lives, positively affecting the lives of all those we come into contact with, seen and unseen. We believe that the kingdom of heaven resides within each and every one of us, and that love is all there is. We know and acknowledge that we are one. Let's go to the rest of our chants. Remember to put your prayer requests in the chat. Speaking of all is well, you know it if you're here every week. All is well, 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 all is well. The next chant, as many of you know, is on forgiveness. If you want true freedom, figure out how to forgive, because it frees you. I love that saying, holding a grudge or being just continually angry at somebody is like allowing them to live rent-free in your head. No squatters. I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, I forgive everyone, forgive everyone. With God's help, I forgive everyone, especially myself. We forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, forgive everyone. With God's help, we forgive everyone, especially ourselves. Deep breath. We forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, we forgive everyone, forgive everyone. With God's help, we forgive everyone, especially ourselves. I see a tweet like that one. No squatters in your head. Kick them out. Forgiveness has an amazing, miraculous quality to it when we're able to forgive, to let go, to release. Sometimes those people come back different. But it really does. It frees us up for healing in so many ways. I move at God's pace and I receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. I have no fear at all. We move at God's pace and we receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. We have no fear at all. We move at God's pace and we receive God's guidance. God provides abundantly. We have no fear at all. Remember, FDR said, well, you might not remember like personally, but Franklin Delano Roosevelt said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Let's go into our prayer time, shall we? So this is your opportunity to take care of your pets, shut off your phone ringer. If you haven't already, give yourself this sacred time once a week. It's life changing. If even if it's only 1 hour a week, it's life changing to take time for sacred reflection and readings and music, and really important. You owe it to yourself. If your children or grandchildren or grand nieces and nephews and aunts and uncles and siblings are around, they can pray with you. Wouldn't that be lovely? Deep breath, close your eyes. This is a prelude to the prayer. We are one in spirit, we co-create with God. We lift our prayers up to the light, expanding loving thoughts. We are one in spirit, we co-create with God. We lift our prayers up to the light, expanding loving thoughts. Keep the breath long, slow. When we slow down the breath, our minds slow down. Join me as we Om 3 times, just to sort of center ourselves. Settling in as we begin to pray. Dear God, Divine Mother, Divine Intelligence, Allah, Source of all life, all the names for God, we gather together on this beautiful day, May 28th, 2023, in a spirit of gratitude and reverence for the gift of this life, for the gift of being able to serve, to be conduits of light and harmony and peace. We ask you, dear higher power, Great Spirit, to take away our need to complain, to be pessimistic. Please take away our habitual looking only at negatives, creating negative experiences. Turn our eyes to the miracles, to what is possible for healing, personal healing, and healing of the collective, and the miracles that are always available and visible and even invisible. We lift our thoughts and our hearts up to you, the higher frequency power, the mysterious source of all life. And we appeal to you to align with us, to help us to be channels of healing for these United States, and for the entire world. Please heal the inequity, the injustices. And on this Memorial Day weekend, we ask, dear God, that you comfort those who are mourning the loss of soldiers of war, that you help the veterans who are suffering from PTSD and from lack of support from the country that they so selflessly served. Heal our hatred, heal our greed, and heal our tendency to want to look away when our help is needed. Heal our guilt, heal our shame, and help us to hold a vision of an America and a world that's strong in love and unity and peace. In the United States at this time, where we are seeing unprecedented division, violent rhetoric, hateful words, we recognize that this is a manifestation of deep-seated fear and misalignment of energies, and we ask, dear God, that you correct this. Those who have been led astray by dangerous lies, repeated and repeated, help them to see loving support to help them out of the hypnosis, to help them out. Those who have been misled away from love and light and into the darkness, we ask that you help them to be inspired by truth, to hear truth. Please bless our president and this administration. Dear God, please protect all those in our justice systems and law enforcement who are under threats, people that are fighting fervently for democracy and freedom in this country especially. Please protect them, inspire them, and guide all of us. Let us take a moment of quiet to reflect on our personal prayers and prayers for people in the chat today. Dear God, we align in our vision for peace in Ukraine, for this war to end quickly, and those who have been in positions of power that are off balance, that are dangerous and murderous, please remove them from power. Please remove those who are corrupt. Please remove from power those who are wanting to make people who are poor and struggling suffer more. Please remove them from their seats, dear God. And we thank you for all motions and actions and unfolding of events that are showing us that the time is near when we can all love again. Please comfort those who are mourning the loss of loved ones today. Comfort those whose loved ones are in hospice care, and for all the caregivers. and help those who are isolated and shut in to have company. Feed the children, bring back our education, and please, dear God, stop the rise of fascism in the United States and show us what to do. We thank you and praise you for your guidance as we lift our prayers up to the light, expanding our loving thoughts and great faith. And so it is. Amen. All right. A little sip of water. It's kind of warm today. I have the sign that says, "Hello, summer." Hello, summer. That was just right in front of me. Please pray throughout the week, and please, maybe make a note to yourself to pray the spiritual mind treatment prayer that I read every week. That was adapted from a prayer treatment for world peace that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote. I'm going to remind you that our theme for the month of May, this is the last Sunday in May, believe it or not, is the infinite power of the divine feminine, and today's sermon is healing our collective grief. And our first reading is from a lecture by yours, not yours truly, but Dr. Ernest Holmes. We're all one. The author of The Science of Mind. And Dr. Holmes says, "So we want peace on earth? Then let us pray for peace in our hearts. Let us affirm peace in our own minds. Let us live as though peace were the mandate of God, because it is. Together let us affirm it, and let us encourage others to, no matter what the opposition appears to be, for it is a fundamental reality of God. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed," Jesus said. "Let us face the future without fear, but let us all also face it intelligently, as men and women who are not afraid of anything. There is nothing in the universe to be afraid of. Some things could be avoided. Let us realize if the world is healed of war and brought into peace, it won't have been because guns were bigger and better or more of them. We need them until it does heal itself for war, but that will come to pass only because somewhere along the line the balance of the scales of eternal truth shall fall on the side of peace. Let us, you and me, pray for peace, and let us make our hearts fit to accept it when it comes. Let us make our intellect and our soul and our will and our feeling ready to receive it and embrace it, even before it comes. Let us, in the stillness of our own souls, go back to that ineffable presence, which is peace, and proclaim it, even in the midst of confusion, that peace which is the power at the heart of God, that peace which is the power at the heart of God, and so it is. Amen." I like to remind people that Dr. Ernest Holmes lived, and he wrote The Science of Mind during the World War I and World War II. So those words they're very, very deep and meaningful, because what he was telling us was no matter what is happening, let us believe in peace, even as in the words of Jesus, he said, "Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed." So it's not like Dr. Ernest Holmes was living in all these peaceful, harmonious times. It wasn't like that, but he held fast to the vision for peace. The next hymn is called "Be Still My Soul," keeping with the theme. And this is also the national anthem for Finland. bear patiently the cross of grief or pain. Leave up to God to order and provide. In every change, be faithful, will remain. Be still, my soul, thy best, thy heavenly friend, through thorny ways leads to a joyful end. Be still, my soul, when dearest friends depart, and all is dark, and as he has the past, then shalt thou bear to know his love, his heart. In every change, be faithful, will remain. Be still, my soul, thy spirit can repay. From his own fullness, all he takes away. Be still, my soul, begin the song of peace. On earth believing to thy Lord on high. Acknowledge him in all thy words and ways. So shall he view they of the well-pleased eye. Be still, my soul, the Son of life divine, through passing clouds, but more brightly shine. Be still, my soul, through all of it, through all of it. Okay. Since our theme this month has been about the infinite power of the divine feminine, and in the spirit of Memorial Day, I wanted to choose something that reflected that sentiment. And so the second reading is by Larry Manuel, and Larry Manuel wrote this to his mother when he was about 18, 19 years old. He was in the 1st Infantry Division in Vietnam, and he wrote this poem to his mother from Vietnam in January 1968. Larry was killed in action in March of that same year. And here's a letter he wrote to his mother, whom he never saw again. The moon is out tonight, Mom, and Charlie's out there too. I'm sitting in a bunker here and writing home to you. I feel I must write to you, or else you'll never know. All the night I've thought of you beneath the lantern's glow. For though I cannot see you here, I feel your presence near. I hear the enemy from within, for I know there is no fear. For fear is born of doubt. You know I have no doubt in you, nor do I doubt that you must long the way I long for you. You are not here, Mom. I know my heart is home with you. And if I am to live through this, your love will see me through. There is no weapon Charlie has to stop my coming home, nor can he make me feel that I am all alone. For though he may not know it, Mom, there's many here with me. Your love and that of those I love also keep me company. Each night, Mom, your words I read, the ones you write all day, the words you write with loving hands, your hopes, your dreams convey. As I read your letters through, each word a portrait bears, Each line is read 100 times. Each line says someone cares. Then in the letter that I wrote, I sent my love to you. And as I opened yours, dear Mom, I found a mother's love from you. This is what I feel from every letter that I get from you. It feels good to get a letter from home after a long, hard day. So keep on writing, Mom, and I'll come home to you someday. So that was a soldier, Larry Manuel, who didn't make it home from Vietnam. And that mother's love, that bond, really, really struck me. In fact, I'm surprised I got through that without bawling my eyes out. Many of you know that I'm a songwriter, and when I was growing up, I met people who had, like we all have met people who were probably, yeah, I know, I tried not to cry. I mean, I did good. I had a few conversations with men who had made it back from Vietnam, and many years ago, I kind of put all my thoughts about what I'd heard from them and really felt from their stories into a song. And this is recorded. It's on YouTube with a slideshow. If you have to type in "War is Blind" Annette Dion and it will pop up. It's also on my record, which is on my website, psychicannetteDion.com, and this is called "War is Blind." About Vietnam. America's not perfect. The world is not perfect. So our theme today is healing our collective grief. And there's so much that we can point to that demonstrates our collective grief. You're welcome, thank you. And we have stood for freedom from the beginnings of this country being established. We have stood for freedom. We have imperfectly struggled and fought for liberty for all. Imperfectly attempted to work together. We've made it through these 240 something years as a democracy. We've lost countless soldiers in wars. Some wars were mistakes. We might say all wars are mistakes. I want to mention that I got that poem from Larry the soldier from the internet, and I'm going to go back to it because I want to point something out. I read through the poem, and with tears in my eyes, it's really just so touching. This young boy, really a young boy, 18, 19 years old, just writing to his mom, you know, this is a war that was, you know, you got drafted into. You might have had no desire whatsoever to be in the military, and they just got drafted into it. It's a stain on the American psyche, even for those who haven't, who are too young to have had any of this in their personal histories, but it's in our collective history. Such an interesting thing was, you know, the work that I do, and I felt connected to his spirit, and I kind of went through this, and the moon is out tonight, Mom, and Charlie's out there too, and there I was reading through this poem going, okay, in my ignorance, maybe Charlie's his friend, maybe who's this Charlie he's referring to? I like the poem, and I didn't really know who Charlie is, and then lo and behold, like, you know, spirits speak to you. And last night, sometimes to unwind, I just watch lighthearted, you know, series. Comedy is the lighter the better. And I was watching this series, and and Charlie and Vietnam were named in the same sentence, and I went, well, that's strange. And finally I got the message. Charlie was referring to something to do with the Vietnam War. It wasn't an actual person. And many of you, maybe all of you know this, but Charlie was what they referred to the Viet Cong as Charlie. Did you guys know that? And I'm sharing that with you because it just is such a great representation of how connected we are, even to these spirits who have passed. They live on and they guide us. I told you on April 30th the story of my friend who's on the other side, who wrote a song in which the lyrics were, I am a lighthouse holding the flame. And I had bought that photograph without even knowing why I was buying it, and my friend passed, and then all of a sudden it all came together. So Charlie was a Viet Cong. Yeah, and I didn't know that. So I just wanted to share that with you because it just expresses to me and to you, you know, we are always being spoken to by the spirit world. And I know that they live in our hearts, whether we knew them or whether we didn't, whether we know them from history. I mean, I was thinking about what this country went through in the 1960s with, you know, John F. Kennedy being shot and killed, and then Martin Luther King being shot and killed, and then Bobby Kennedy talking about Martin Luther King's assassination, and only the next thing that happened was he got assassinated, and there was fighting on the streets, and there was all these civil rights demonstrations and protests and violence, and I am sure that people just didn't know what to do. Seems like people know that that's what Charlie means. I don't know, I guess I don't know war talk very much. People didn't know what to do. How did they get through it? And one thing that I know for sure is we don't get through it by ignoring it. We don't get through these tough times. We don't get through it and become a better nation unless we learn from it. And just like after 9/11, we say, we'll never forget. Never again. Well, what's happening now in the United States is the propensity of people who want to bury things, and I'm not saying this to shame anybody. We all do it. It's hard to look at hard stuff. And we really do have to resist the temptation to shut it down. And we have to open our eyes to, we're all in this pain. There's not one of us that's not in this pain. Even after the pandemic, a million people in the United States, we lost family members, friends, people that were there one day and gone the next, or we lived in the fear. If we breathed on somebody, it might mean death. If they breathed on us, it might mean a horrible death. We continue to mourn those who have been slain by gun violence. We are starting to be just overwhelmed by the horror of fascism encroaching upon this nation, and women being treated like second-class citizens, and banning books, and taking away our rights to vote. We're in a collective trauma. We are in a collective grief. And since the sermon today is about healing our collective grief, we must address it. We must come to a place where we all agree we're going to open our eyes, we're going to be inclusive. I've mentioned it before, and it's worth repeating. Just a few mere days after September 11th, 2001, when I had just met Sadhguru a few years prior, and we were all together. There was a small group of us in Nashville, and we were talking, and we were asking questions, and I asked him, what to do about this energy we're all feeling around this horrible attack on our country. And he warned us. He said the danger will be if we respond to this tragedy by dividing into us versus them. And lo and behold, that is what the United States people did. Many. And that's out of fear. That's out of fear that people started being afraid of people that were from the Middle Eastern culture that lived in America, immigrants, people who had come here with their families and legitimate citizens. People started to be afraid of them and then separate and then say, we remember in the Middle East, death to America, and people in the United States were like, yeah, go start a war, right? And that's fear-based. We must resist the temptation to be afraid. Like FDR said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. We all know the divisiveness makes us more violent, not maybe in actual physical ways, but we all know the divisiveness makes us feel rage and revenge. And what's happening is we're seeing people doing it to the good people, and then we get more afraid, and then we don't know who to grab onto to feel less afraid. We've got to grab onto each other. The infinite, the power of the divine feminine is we have to care for one another. And when we care for one another, we will feel love again. We will feel safe again. we will feel amazing because we'll understand, oh, it's not just me against the world. It's all of us coming together in the spirit of this loving energy that is so extremely bowl you over powerful. We're finally going to use it. We're going to use that. We're going to heal this together. I saw a video clip of an anchor on Fox. I don't even have to mention his name, because if you've ever seen clips from Fox, you know who's who. But it's somebody who's in the running to take over for the Carlson guy. The, thank goodness, by the miracles of the heavens, got booted off. Anyway, this person's name is Jesse, and if you watch Fox, you know I don't want to be doxxed or anything, so I'm just going to say, he made a practice of going out onto the streets of, I think, major cities, New York and maybe LA, and I just saw clips of him going up to people and saying racist, xenophobic things to people from different communities, like the homeless people, and making fun of them. And really just digging in on this, oh, they're dirty, they're despicable, they're Asian, or they're black, and there's a veteran who's homeless, and the judgment and the vitriol and the revolting way in which he held himself when he was talking to these people on the street, innocent, just people on the street, maybe having a hard time, having a tough time. Nothing like kicking you when you're down. Nothing like just, attacking somebody for how they look because their skin color is different or their heritage is different. I just was listening to Tom Hanks earlier, his commencement speech for the Harvard graduates, and he talked about, was it Marlon Brando? One of those guys, I think it was. Who, when asked what race he was, he said, I'm from the human race. Yeah, we're from the human race. That's our race. We're humans. That's it, right? And when this guy on Fox, you can look it up. When I really reflected on it, first I saw how angry, I mean really angry I became. I forgive everyone, I forgive, right? How angry I became to see him, this privileged, with lavish life, this guy who happens to be an anchor on this propaganda channel that's really dangerous and really promotes hatred. When I really stepped back and looked at it, you know what I got? That man was deathly afraid of ever being in a position of hardship to the point of homelessness. And in order to ward off the whole idea, he had to put on full display, maybe not for other people, maybe more for himself. Look, I'm different from that. No, that doesn't heal us. But for the grace of God, this person was more privileged. Wanting to be separated is not the mark of divinity. Knowing our own inner love and inner passion and inner need to connect with one another, we think that love is a wimpy thing. There is nothing more courageous than to step up and to say, I honor the divinity in you. It doesn't matter that our lives are different or that our skin color is different. And we can heal our collective grief when one by one, each and every one of us shines our light as brightly as we can, and we muster up all the courage that we need to love one another. It's a courageous act. And hatred is the cop-out way. Hatred and divisiveness is how we cop out. So when it all comes down to it, when everything kind of shakes down, it all comes down to love, because love is who we are. And love will heal us, and love will save us. And nothing but love. So on this solemn day, I really appreciate you being here today, because I know that a lot of people look at this weekend, many people look at this weekend as it's the kickoff of summertime. It's a time for cookouts. It's a time for, going to the beach. Believe me, I live in an island town in the northeast coast, and it's you wouldn't know it was a solemn day. And I'm not saying that to shame anybody. I'm just saying, okay, how about going to the Memorial Day parade tomorrow morning after you've enjoyed the weekend? Please reach out to a veteran. Please reach out to somebody who's alone and lonely, an elder. Reach out to an elder person who maybe they can tell you stories about how it was for them in America. And maybe those people can inspire you. They got to see America get through it and become better because of the tragedies. What we're in right now is we're in a tragic situation, but we can heal it. We can stop the bleeding, literally, with love, because that's our healing balm. I have gone too long, so let's go to the next part of the program. Thank you for being here. And please share, and thank you for hitting the thumbs up. On Tuesday, every Tuesday, we have a guided meditation for a healed America. Go to grassrootsofdemocracy.com to sign up for that. It's working. Please say the prayer for a healed America that's in the program. For those of you that don't have the program, that's Larry, the serviceman that was killed in Vietnam. Good looking kid. Don't know how old he'd be now if he lived. Probably in his 70s. Thank a veteran today. Please give to the International Rescue Committee to help Ukrainian refugees and other people around the world that are facing great hardships. Rescue.org. Please contribute to Sadhguru's Save Soil initiative to save the world's topsoils. Go to savesoil.org. And please be involved with organizations and candidates that are fighting hard to save our democracy from fascism. I know we're adjusting to that, but that is what's going on. So please support people who are running for office to save democracy. And notice the good things that are happening too, because when we notice the good, it increases. Go to Church of Spirituality.online, and thank you. It means a lot when people donate. Dear God, thank you for making us more aware of what we have that we can give to make a difference in this troubled world. Please help us to look deeply into our hearts, to see that we can always give more. Help us to see that you make our supply infinite, granting us the inspiration and courage to be a more generous people. Thank you for the bounty which we receive. Amen. Oh, and I saw somebody did put up a donation. Thank you for that. Sometimes I miss it. I'm going to read from Ernest Holmes' The Science of Mind. Before I read that, I want to let you know that if you know a Vietnam veteran and you want to look up that song War is Blind, just type War is Blind, Annette Dion into your YouTube search. That song was used at a Memorial Day service where Vietnam veterans were being honored. So that was a big deal for me. Through the long night watches, God's hand clasps ours. At the break of dawn, God's hand clasps ours. In the daytime of work and endeavor, from eternity to eternity, God's hand clasps ours. When time shall have passed, when eternity shall be strewn about like falling petals, and space and world shall be swallowed up in everlasting blessedness, God's hand shall clasp ours. And so it is. Go in peace, be peace, and pray for peace. Appreciate yourself. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you soon. Namaste.